Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to have so many beautiful people here for our roots drawing, roots art meditation, which is the first part of the Ancestral art series. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Antje Howard. I am an artist and a teacher and a guide. I like to call myself a guide. And I work with the NeuroGraphica method, which is a conscious art method that we can use in many, many, many different ways. It has a broad spectrum of possible uses. And maybe I'm going to just go very, very, very quickly into why and how I actually started doing this ancestral arts piece. The initial reason for it was my grandma. She passed away 3 years ago at 98. So she had a long and beautiful life, but I live in the US and she lives in Germany. So I could not go to her funeral because it was during COVID and all kinds of crazy travel restrictions and everything going on. And I found a way for myself to honor her and to connect with her while I could not take part in any of the normal rites of passage that we create when someone dies in the family. I couldn't see my family. I couldn't hug my dad, which really was hard for me. But I immediately found that through art, I could just for myself find a way to say goodbye and to reconnect and to actually strengthen my connection to her. So this is how I started, and then I went on from there to develop more and more little processes for that, because I found that it became interesting to me and it's very powerful to me. So this is why I want to share it with you. Because also autumn time for me is kind of like the time to start drawing back in, start reconnecting to yourself, going deeper into yourself and into your own story. And that for me really connects with the ancestors as well. So the ancestors are a big part of our story, even if we don't like it sometimes. So the way I would like to invite you to start this ceremony before we actually go into the drawing process is in the form of a little meditation. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. You can place your feet on the ground. It's very nice if you can actually connect to the ground. Sit upright. You don't have to sit straight and not move. You can move your body if you need to. Trusting yourself, connecting with yourself. If it feels good, you're invited to close your eyes. And just start with taking a few deep breaths. Arriving in yourself, in your body, feeling your breathing in and out. And with the breath, you can let go of anything that happened today that may be still pulling on your awareness. Just breathe it out. Maybe a little sigh or a sound wants to leave as well. Feeling comfortable. Then I invite you to imagine, visualize a circle of light around you. Whatever this light looks like, maybe it's little candles, maybe it's bright, maybe it has a color. So a circle of light. That is your space, your safe space, marking your safe space. And you can imagine that you envelop yourself with the circle, like putting on a hoodie all over you, creating a sphere of light all around you. And you can also verbalize, speaking out loud or just in your mind, saying, "This is my sacred, safe space." And only the energies that I invite are welcome here. And all the other energies need to stay outside. And really establish that around you, that feeling of safety, of protection. And then I invite you to imagine that you're standing outside on the earth, feeling the ground under your feet, feeling the rest of your body as well, and connecting to your feet, connecting to the ground below. And I invite you to imagine that you bow down and touch the ground, really creating a connection with the Mother Earth, honoring her and welcoming her to our ceremony. And you can sit on the ground, really feeling this connection. And then I invite you to imagine a plate with an offering in front of you. It can be anything, really, maybe food or drink or flowers, signs of beauty, anything that comes to your mind right now. Maybe it's healing herbs or little crystals or rocks. An offering of beauty, an offering to honor those who walk this earth before you. So imagine offering this little plate to the ancestors of the place where you are right now. And maybe you even know their names. Maybe you know the names of the original peoples of the land. And if you do, you can speak their names. I'm honoring the Pomo elders of this region where I reside now. Honoring all the peoples, all the creatures that walked this land before me, that are connected to this land under my feet. In a very respectful manner. Feeling whatever resonates. And then I invite you to imagine that you're growing roots down into the ground, out of your feet, maybe out of your legs, your buttock, connecting even more, even deeper. Traveling down into the ground. And going down your family tree, your bloodlines, your genetic lines, and moving all the way down to a place where you are kin with all human, where we are all one, connected through one ancestor. Feeling this connection to all human kin. And from there you can move even deeper, further down the tree of life, to a place where you are brother, sister, with all animals, all creatures on this planet, feeling connected to all of life, and going deeper, even deeper, where you become one with the plants, with the trees, finding the common ancestor, the one-celled organism that connects us all. And going even deeper, where you become part of the earth, of the minerals, the elements, the atoms that are the same in your body as an earth body. You're just feeling your oneness with this planet, with our home, with our great mother. And then I invite you to bring this energy up into your body, this connection, this awareness of oneness, soaking it up through your feet, coming into your body, feeling your feet and your legs, breathing it into your belly, breathing it into your heart, breathing it into your mind, feeling the resonance, the vibration. And then I invite you to bring your hands together in front of your chest for a moment. Maybe you're feeling gratitude for this being one with the earth, feeling connected to all the life. Then you can rub your hands together, bringing warmth, blood flow, energy flow, movement back. Then I invite you to wake yourself up again. You can just touch your face, rub your face, coming back into the place where you are, bringing your hands wherever they feel good right now on your body. And from here, we will go into the drawing. Okay. So I have my paper facing like a landscape format. You can also move it around. You can also go portrait, but because just of the camera, it's easier for me to do it like this. Okay, so now we will draw these roots. Going into it slowly. For anyone who's not familiar with NeuroGraphica, I'm just gonna slowly guide you through it. There's not much you can do wrong, so just try to follow. So first, in the upper third of the picture, I'm going to draw a line. Not a straight line. We never drew straight lines in NeuroGraphica. They're all kind of wavy and moving and just energetic, I'm going to say today. And then under here, I will place my seed into the ground. And you can just imagine yourself as you were sitting right now, connecting to the ground, to the earth. You can imagine you're sitting in this little circle. And from here, we will begin drawing roots down. We're drawing with so-called neurographic lines. I think it's very nice to actually explain them as roots, because roots, when they go down into the ground, they constantly meet little rocks, little pockets of something. They will never go in a straight way. They will never go in a way that's predictable, because we don't know what it looks like down there. So imagine drawing roots. I invite you to just draw lines down very slowly. Just starting to connect to the below, to the ground. And no root, no line ever looks the same, and it never really does what we expect it to do. This is how we go with neurographic lines. So first we establish this connection down, and just drawing a few lines, I would say maybe 5, 6, just going down from the seed all the way. And bringing this imagery, this experience from the meditation into this drawing. I'm going to draw one more. Giving yourself time with it. I have 5 now. And now what I want to do is name them. Just feeling into what roots me. There can be many different things that we feel rooted in. One of them for me is definitely my home country. So these are my German roots, and I'm actually going to write it with like a thinner pen. I have a little pen. This writing into it is optional, but I find it very helpful when I look at drawings later. If I have notes in them, it gives me more information, more knowledge. So I'm just gonna maybe name a few of them. For me, definitely one is just the earth, just the ground, really the physical earth that helps me to feel rooted wherever I am. Since I don't live in Germany, where like literally all of my family is, most of my family is. Feel rooted in the earth. And I can ask myself, what makes me feel rooted? What makes me feel strong? I feel rooted in my art. That gives me roots, gives me strength, gives me connection. And I feel rooted, I'm going to just say, in love. My relationship is very important for me. Love to my family, a lot of different love. And then the fifth one, I'm going to leave it open for now. And now I can just explore each of those roots a little bit deeper. So I go back into the line, go over it again, divert from it, and think about what connects me here. How do I feel connected? And whenever I ask questions, when I get an answer, I like to use circles to connect with that. So when I think of my home, I definitely feel connected there through my family. I can go and think about what else makes me connected here. The culture. And I can again name those if I want to. I'm going to leave them just as circles for now. But there also, if there's anything very significant for you, I always recommend to name it. And I can just follow my roots down, creating more lines, asking myself what makes me connected to this root that represents my home country. A lot of memories there, a lot of friends and connections. I want to say the food, but I'm not a fan of German food. Something like this would also work. And so I continue exploring this part of my roots. And I can also ask myself, what needs healing there? Is there anything in this part of myself that needs healing? For me, connected to German, being German is always healing to do. I think we're not done with that yet, culturally or as a nation. So I'm going to draw a few circles for healing. And at this point, actually, I want to just very quickly show for anyone who's not familiar with NeuroGraphica so much, the process of rounding, because now I have all these lines here and all these little circles and connections. So I'm just going to go ahead and make one example. I have two roots, I'm going to say, and the circles, I have points where the lines cross. And so wherever lines cross, we have this kind of stuff happens. Now we have two lines and they cross and they have this kind of like triangle shape crossings. And what we want to do here is, I like to say, drive around the corner and make these triangles round, smooth them out and create a connection. So when I draw my picture, I just every now and then go ahead and round out my lines, connecting them to my circle. So the idea here is to create connection. And I go ahead and do that everywhere. In this picture, it's not very, very, very important to do that everywhere perfectly. So please don't worry about it. Just go whenever you see a little corner somewhere, you think think about it, you can just make a little connection. So I just do that as I go. And then I really feel that I explored my German roots and I went into the different places, the different things that connect me. And I also acknowledge that there is healing that needs to be done for me, but also for all Germans, I feel, for our entire culture. And the little thing I do here may actually bring that through my consciousness into the field for everyone. So I will continue with my next route that I called Earth. I love already. And just going down this one, exploring it more, creating more lines, and asking myself what actually connects me to the earth. And I feel my feet immediately, so my body connects me to the earth. It, for me, is a very physical connection. And I love to walk bare feet. So whatever your root is there, ask yourself these little questions and maybe some random looking little idea comes up. And then you can give it a circle. You can acknowledge it, whatever it is, without judging. There's no right or wrong here, no better or worse roots. And definitely I feel connected to animals and plants. I'm a plant person. I'm going to make a big circle here for plants because I love to have plants in my life. And I feel that I learn a lot from them. They're just so nice to be around. And giving that space. And rounding a little bit whenever I feel like it. As I said, it doesn't have to be everything perfectly rounded in this picture. I'm going to go one more time down my earth root, down this very strong connection that I feel. And I want to, for some reason, give a little extra circle to the dolphins. I think I have a dolphin history going on there for myself. And I just acknowledge it, look at it, give it space. And as I said, you're probably going to have your own themes, your own connections, your own things that came up with the idea of roots in general. So next I want to explore next one in the same way. First asking what actually connects me. And then asking what needs healing. And of course I can also do that with my earth root. I'm sure there is healing that needs to be done. Like the healing of the children of the earth. The healing of this connection. Bringing us back into a different relationship. I'm going to make a circle here for this different relationship, this healing of human and earth, of this connection. Oh. And going on from here, now they just have this beautiful healing for the earth circle. I'm going to go into my root that I call love. And first, make a circle for my partner, my husband, who is giving me strength and connection. And I feel much more rooted with him here. And I want to make a big circle, love for myself, being rooted in self-love, rooted in this honoring of my own body, my emotions, my experience. I can ask myself what gives me strength here. Just going from the top down, over and over, trying more and more lines. And I want to make a family circle as well. And like a spirit family circle overlapping. All of this makes me feel rooted, makes me feel strong. And I'm going to draw a gratitude circle. It's super big as well. The circles can be as small or as big as they need to be. They can overlap, they can connect. And now I feel good about this. And then, of course, I can also ask myself if there's anything that needs healing here. Disconnection. Maybe finding ways to express it better, more openly. Make one a healing circle. Down here, so it's going to be a big healing actually, it seemed. Usually when I draw circles, I don't plan how big the circle is, but I just draw it. It's going to be as big as it gets. And it can be very interesting to see that. Now I have quite some connections here. I'm going to go into the last root that I had here, which was my art, which for me is something that I feel gives me groundedness and strength. And so I want to root into it some more. My art practice. You could have some kind of other practice. if you want to explore this kind of root, my art practice, I'm gonna draw one for my art teaching, because that, of course, helps me connect. And here again, I can ask myself, what needs healing? And in this root is actually interesting. I have this thought that it actually can bring healing to my other roots. So here I can root in a practice that allows me to bring healing to the rest of my life. And as I said, could be other things as well. You could, if you're rooted in a philosophy, a practice, maybe you have a teacher who you really want to connect with, or maybe it's something completely different, something that you love to do, that you want to bring more into your life. This is about bringing more of it into life. I'm gonna round out a little bit more again. And feeling the healing power that's in this for me. The healing power that's in sharing this. And then I want to go one time into the root that I didn't name yet. And this for me in a way is a new root that connects me to the land where I am here. I don't live on land that I was born at. I live on a different land, far, far away from where I was born. And I want to root in here. I want to get more connected to the land itself, but also, of course, to the place, the people, the community here. So I draw that into my drawing, a root that I would like to establish. And even if I don't feel super connected yet, maybe I'm looking for these roots, I can create them in my drawing. Gonna make a few little circles here for the connections that I want to establish. And then, of course, I can also ask myself if there's healing that needs to be done here. Maybe for the place, maybe for my connection with the place, maybe for the people. And here I know there are things that need to be healed for the place, for the people here. There's a lot of people here experience a lot of losses. And of course, the indigenous community is here. And I honor all of that, my own, but also the healing needs of others in this drawing, in this root. And as you can probably imagine, you could go on like that forever. I want to show one little cool trick, just in case you feel like you want to go deeper. One thing that we can always do in NeuroGraphica is extend the canvas, which means I could glue a piece of paper on below and just continue drawing down. So if you feel that you want to make this into a bigger drawing, going way deeper down into these roots, then you can always do that. No, sometimes we feel, or we may make connections and get some insights, but then there is the possibility to go way deeper with it. So you can explore that by yourself. Now, I would like to go into color first. So I can ask myself what colors are in these roots. I like to consciously use color as a kind of healing tool as well. So I ask myself, what color do I feel there? And I ask myself, what color can bring healing? And I just intuitively grabbed this little light green. And I'm going to start with my new root because I feel that is something that I want to establish more. I want to connect more to the place where I live here, connect to the people, the culture, and everything. And green for me has this kind of feeling of new renewal, establishing something, growing. So I use colors very intuitively. As I said, for me right now, it just has this feeling. And then I go down the roots. We don't have to color everything, but just using the color to explore the space more. And it's beautiful because this one connects to my earth. And I kind of feel that in establishing a deeper connection to the place where I am, I automatically establish a deeper connection to the earth in general as a larger entity, as a larger part of my life as well. So I just explore with the color, watching where the color takes me. And then whenever I feel that I have enough of that green, I even put a little bit green into my seed up here, then I go with the next color. So it's very intuitive, very simple. I had this orange, and I can tell you a story to each color just spontaneously, but I'm gonna let you explore by yourself. Really just feeling into it. And if you feel there's a need for healing, really just ask yourself which color would help right now. And begin to trust, learn to trust this first hunch, that first feeling, even if it's like an unfamiliar one or if it's a familiar one. Grab the color before your mind can make up a story about it. And then just feel what happens to you, what happens in your body, in your emotions, what kind of thoughts come up with this color. As I said, I could probably tell a long story with every single color that I touch here. But that's my story. It's my personal relationship here to this color and to my root. And I don't actually need reasons to use a color. I can just go with whatever I feel. And just enjoying playing with it and making it to where you like that picture. It makes you feel good. That's what we want to establish with that. That's what we want to create here. A picture that gives you strength, that nurtures you, that reminds you of your strength, your connections, your roots, and also reminds you of how flexible you can be, how many different roots you can have, and they may feel very different. Some may need more healing, some may give you more strength. Some may be complicated. And that's okay too. You can use as many colors as you feel like. I think we're going to probably color another 5 minutes. I invite you to come back to that later and really, play with the color. If you use colored pencils like me, you can go over again and again and again, making some stick out a little bit more. Now I wonder, my German root going to be blue today. And every time you use a new color, just feel into this connection. As I said, like my German root's going to be blue today, and I feel into this blue. Ask myself, what does that mean to me today? Maybe what is needed, what is already there. They're kind of soft, which in a way makes me almost sad. But since I don't live there right now, it also makes sense. That doesn't mean that I'm losing them, but they are not the strongest roots for me anymore. When I look back at my life, that used to be the strongest root, the first root. Growing up in a certain place, in a certain culture, in a certain family. And now my roots diversify. And I have to find ways to feel rooted in a different place. Put a little bit more dark blue. Feeling this almost sadness and letting it be there, being with it, whatever comes up. Allow yourself to feel the feeling. Okay. Now I going back to my pen, and I will actually draw my roots up. Now the movement of my lines was always downwards, and now I will choose a spot somewhere at the edge of my paper, one of these roots. I'm going to draw them up all the way into my seed and into my reality above ground. I have this one. Some of the roots may be like thicker, stronger, calling your attention, and you just follow them up and move all the way. And when you go up over the ground, you can imagine how you bring this awareness into your life, what it looks like in everyday life. to be connected there. I'm going to draw a few of them. And you can follow just the lines that are already there. If you kind of divert from it somewhere, that's also fine. And just allowing yourself to grow with these roots and to grow as a human, to grow in all of your connections, to grow personally. And imagining that all these roots are really nurturing you, nurturing what comes up on the other side, nurturing your personal growth. And creating the beginning of a small tree up there. And you can just observe which ones are the roots that you feel most called to, which ones are the ones that you go into again and again, which ones are the ones that call your attention the most, that feel the strongest too, which ones are the ones that really feel like they nurture you. And it may be surprising. And now I'm going to go ahead and round a little bit wherever I created new lines, and round my little tree that I created in the top here now. And once I begin growing, my seed completely changes. The seed turns into something else. I feel that's a beautiful analogy as well. How we can change when we find the things that really nurture and strengthen and support us. Maybe you're rooted in your community, or you're rooted in, a practice or something like that. Maybe your family really gives you strength. Maybe the earth really gives you strength, personal connection, whatever it might be. Find the ones that really feel like they light you up, they strengthen you, going from the ground all the way up into the crown of my little tree. Maybe it's a bush so far, but there's a lot of potential for growth now, and a lot of energy to grow. And that's what we need. And then I'm actually going to leave the crown without color for today. You are, of course, invited to draw as much above ground as you feel. You could even extend the paper above as well and draw a much bigger drawing that really goes into this future as well, above ground. Or what you take into the future. I'm going to say it, I think. And this also says that we have a choice. Oh, what we take on, how much we take on, what we take with us in our lives, which roots we really, um, which roots we're kind of connected to, which ones we lean on. And there is variety there. It's one of the reasons why I start with this drawing, because I feel that before we go into blood ancestry and working with that, it's good to just feel a connection that's even beyond that. So as I said in the beginning, the ancestral work can be very challenging as well. It's not all just beautiful and helpful, but there are also things that really need healing. And so it's very good to create a strong base before we do that. I invite you to continue the work on this drawing. You can go deeper, you can add more roots, you can go and look at what might grow out of your roots. Now, there's many different possibilities to continue this drawing, and you can, of course, go back, draw more lines, find more things that actually nurture you, find more things that need healing, maybe. Just work with it more, but for now, I invite you to just be with your drawing for a moment. I like to place my hands on there, and I'm actually going to put my little crystal on here as well now, because I can infuse my crystal with this work. I'll kind of give all of this energy that I brought up here into it. Just breathing, coming back to your body, and really feeling what's happening for you right now. Are your thoughts going somewhere? Are there any emotions present? Are there any sensations in your body that call your attention? Just whatever there is, giving it a moment of attention. Being with it, being with yourself. And then I invite you to just close your eyes very briefly, and then open your eyes and look at your picture and see, where do you look first? Is there an area in the picture that calls your attention? I have these two little circles here that for some reason really call my attention. They're actually the biggest circles in the drawing, so kind of makes sense, I guess. And I'm going to emphasize whatever I saw now without really thinking about what it is, what it means, or anything like that yet. I'm just going to go ahead and make the outline of this circle here thicker. So wherever you are looking, if there's a circle there, you can just make it stand out with a thicker outline. And for me, actually, it's kind of like this double figure almost. So I'm going to go and make this one a little bit thicker too. And kind of nice because it makes like this 8, this infinite sign. And then, of course, I can see which root am I actually working with right now. It's my root of love, my root of getting established in the new place. It's not super new, actually. I've been here for several years, but I still feel that there's work for me to do to really root here. So I can look at that and just allow myself to feel it. Whatever comes up with this figure that wants more attention, this roots that want more attention. And looking at where you're connecting right now. What are the areas that are coming together? What are the areas that are touched with this? And then feeling into your heart again, into your body. See what happened now. You can just put a hand on your heart if that feels comfortable. And with it, I'm gonna close this drawing. Of course, I'm gonna go back and draw more. And I invite you to close your eyes again for a moment and come back to that circle of light around you. Come back to that sphere that is enveloping you. And you can imagine now that the sphere is somewhere in this drawing. I imagine my sphere to be in my drawing. And I can explore this drawing like that again. Imagine being in there, in the circle. With the drawing and breathing. And then I invite you to imagine again that you're outside, standing on the earth again, feeling this beautiful connection, coming back to the connection with the earth, with all the living beings, with all of humanity, the whole tree. Then I invite you to touch the earth in gratitude, giving thanks to her for holding you, for guiding you through this little drawing experience. And I invite you to give thanks to yourself for showing up for this work, for opening up to whatever you needed to hear or to see today. Being a moment in full gratitude. And coming back into your body, feeling your heart. Taking a few deep breaths. And with the breath, you can let go of anything that you don't want to take with you now. Anything that may have come up, that may have been heavy or needed healing, you can leave it in the picture. Allow it to be there. You don't have to take it on as a weight. And then you can rub your hands again if that feels good. Rub them nice and warm. Place them over your eyes. Woo, waking yourself back up. Coming back into the space where you are. So that was my first. And I admit it's the very shortest of all these drawing processes. But as I said, you can remain with that process for a long time. You can go deeper with it, which I hope that some people might do. I want to take the time to just invite everyone and speak very briefly about the rest of the series, of the Ancestral Art series. There will be another three processes that we go through. want to actually have pictures too. I can show you some pictures that might make it more interesting. I want to say thank you to everyone who's drawing with me today. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to just show you some of my pictures and talk about the other processes that we're going to go into in the next 3 weeks. Share. Oh, there. Curious. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, and I can't find it to share. Whoop, whoop. I apologize for that. Share screen. History. Okay, so for some reason I can't share it. That's sad. Maybe like this. Oh yeah. Do you see a picture? Yeah. Okay, so that is the first one, the Ancestral Mandala. In Ancestral Mandala, we go into 7 generations of actual blood ancestry. So after this first introduction of just ancestry in general, or like kind of this, what I understand it as ancestry as well. No, we are, the earth is our ancestor and all the beings are our ancestors. But here we go into our actual family ancestry. We go from our parents to our grandparents to our great grandparents, and then 7 generations. So every little circle here is an ancestor. I really love this process. Oh, how can I continue from here now? Oh, there. Okay. I've drawn a lot of them, I admit. Some of them very, very big too. This is like I don't even know how big it is. It's a giant size. It's a very big drawing, so you can spend weeks with that. This one literally took me a week. This is one of the drawings that I did for my grandmother. When she passed, I made a drawing with the intention of welcoming her in the land of the ancestors. So you can work with different intentions. You can ask different questions. You can ask your ancestors for help. And of course, you bring healing. We also work with color again, of course. As I said, I love to work very intuitively with color as a healing element in the drawings. So yeah, that is the first one. And as I said, I always like to include it in like a ceremony. So here I was drawing a lot of drawings for my grandmother. So I always made a little offering for her and some cake and coffee for her. So you can do as much or as little of these extras as you want. And then just like some crazy ideas of what you can actually do with the art. I put crystals on it, put it in the moonlight, or you can like use your art. I have some of my drawings on altars. I make like a little ancestral altar and put drawings on that. This is actually the second drawing that we're going to go into, which is working with the 4 directions. It is looking at the 4 primary ancestral lines, the 4 primary bloodlines, which means it's going from your parent, your mother and father, and then going into all the mother's sides and all the father's sides. So the father's father, mother's mother. And this one I'm still establishing. I'm still kind of like tweaking it more and more, so it might change a little bit. It's always going to be interesting to revisit a drawing process. The first time I did it, it looked like that. So it looked different before. I have like here one version with my actual ancestors, which you can, as I said, play with it, make it yours, use it. I think that this way of making art can really, like bring a lot of beauty into your life. And you can, make these drawings your own. Then the last process that we actually go into is portraits. So here you see my four ancestors, my two grandfathers and my two grandmothers. I've actually met those three. I haven't met my father's father. So I drew him one time. But the first one that I started with was my grandma when she passed. And those are actually the pictures that I drew after my grandma passed away. And for me, that was a process of getting to know which parts of me are the most connected to her. So working with a drawing is always a way of working with parts inside yourself. So you can find an ancestor that you're interested in working with. And as I said, this drawing also, I made it over a week. It took a long time and it ended somewhere there. So I have many, 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 many layers, which of course we're going to start with one layer, but you can keep working on these and go back to them over and over. And then, as I said, I put it on an altar, I put a candle in front of it. I bring it into my life with the art. This is my grandfather that I have never met. And I kind of try to get to know him in a way, try to get to know the part that I am, or like how I am connected to him. And that was a very interesting process because I really learned a lot in this process about myself, about things that I didn't really understand about myself, that I can't find in anyone else in my family. And they showed up in his picture. And I realized that, okay, so that might be something that comes from this part. And this is my great grandmother, who I was also very blessed to have met in person. And every picture has, of course, its own story. That's the actual photograph. So that is the series, those 3 drawings we're going to make. And each workshop is 2 hours long because we're going to as well start off with a meditation, a kind of tuning in, and then going back out. And as I said, those drawings are a little bit more complex than the one that we did today. That's why I'd like to start with kind of an easy one. But even if you're not super experienced in NeuroGraphica, it's really just about doing it and trying it and continue drawing. And I want to offer a wonderful discount to everyone for the class, for the series, which maybe I should write it down somewhere so I could actually show it in the camera. I made it very easy. It's going to be KIN 22. So, and I can put that in the chat as well. I just show it on the camera, so I got it on the video. There, with this discount, you can get 20% off the Ancestral Art series. It's going to be the next 3 Sundays until the end of October, which for me, kind of fits perfectly. End of October is when we have Halloween and all of that. And we're basically way down in the ancestor time. And then I'm going to put the website and the code in the chat just for anyone who wants to jump on it right now. But so this is what I wanted to share. And I thank everyone who drew with me today. I would love to see your drawings. Please come to my Facebook group or contact me privately and share your drawings with me. It's the last thing I want to say. And I hope to see some of you for the Ancestral Art series. I'm very much looking forward to it.